Hey, it's Jason with jamzDOTnet, Cars, DIY Adventures. I'm here with my 2007 Land Rover Range Rover, and I made a stupid mistake. And I got to add some coolant to this 2007 Land Rover Range Rover L322. And I'm going to show you how to add coolant and check to make sure that you do, in fact, need to add coolant. And I'll explain my stupid mistake I made. Let's go. The stupid mistake I made was 6 months ago, beginning of the summer last year, I was running some of the vehicles, and I had this 2007 running back here behind the garage, and I left it running for like 11 hours. I forgot I had it running. It runs so quiet. I cut everything off, went up to my office, and the middle of the night, I guess early in the morning, I woke up and said, did I cut the Land Rover off? And I didn't. So it was actually running for about 11 hours, and it wasn't too hot. It was summer, but it was one of the cooler evenings. And whenever a vehicle runs like that for an extended period of time, it doesn't have any cooling coming in from the fans or anything, so it's really dependent on the coolant. The coolant level was fine. It caused absolutely no issues, but I knew that it probably burned a little more coolant than it should have. And, you know, go nearly a year later, it's now winter time, and this was, I don't know, a good 8 months ago, so I guess 8 months ago. And I am seeing that it says check coolant level on the dash, which isn't a big deal because I can see some coolant in the reservoir, but it's clear that I need to fill it up. So let's go ahead and fill up or top off some of the coolant in this 2007 Land Rover Range Rover L322. So my dumb mistake aside, if you get a check coolant message, check the coolant, do what it says, right? And it's easy to do. Pop your hood. On the Land Rover, you always know the latch is near the V. That's how I remember. Go ahead and pop the latch up. Make sure 100% that the vehicle is completely cool. Do not do this when it's hot, because this is a pressurized tank. If you open up this tank, it will scald you and not good. And make sure it's on a flat ground. So I was driving this earlier today, and I parked it, and it's cooled off, and I have it on a flat part of the garage. Now, when we look for the coolant tank, you're looking at the front of the Land Rover. It's all the way to the left. It's right here. This is the expansion tank that we have. In this expansion tank, there's going to be lines, cold fill line. Mine is right about here, and it should be right here. So I can see coolant in the reservoir. It's not like it's completely dry, but you want this expansion tank to be where it says cold fill. So it was telling me to check because the sensor was probably detecting that it was a little bit low. Now, a lot of people will say, well, you shouldn't really ever have to add coolant to your vehicle. It's a closed loop system, yada, yada, yada. That's true. You shouldn't be adding coolant to your vehicle every couple months or whatnot. That means you probably have a leak or you got a head gasket issue or something like that. However, every couple of years, it's not that big of a deal in my opinion. Natural evaporation will occur. And if you do a dumb mistake like I did, yeah, I probably used more coolant than I should have. And over the course of, you know, the entire summer, I got to this point where I can see I need to add it. So safety, cooled vehicle, and then you're going to want to loosen the expansion cap, and I'm going to show you the coolant I'm using. And the other thing is, you notice this is pink coolant. You don't want to be mixing. If it's pink, put pink in. And don't go with the cheap stuff, you know, go with something that's nice. I have a very specific coolant I like. I pay a premium for it, but I like it, and it's what my local indie shop, my independent Land Rover shop, recommended to me, and I've been using in all of these vehicles with no issues. Let's take a look. So the coolant I use, it's a German coolant. I use this in the Mercedes. I use this in the Land Rovers. This is Pentosyn Pentofrost SF. This was, I think it was like 30 bucks at Napa. This is a concentrate. So what that means is you're not going to get that big old bucket where you just mix it, where you just dump it in. It's a 50-50 mixture. So you're going to want to put 50% of what you want mixed with 50% distilled water or clean water. You don't want to use anything too harsh. I always just use this little mixer here, and I can say, you know, hey, I'm going to add a half pint of Pinto Frost, and then I'll add a half pint of water, and in doing so, that's going to give me 1 pint that I can actually add. Okay, so I have my 8 ounces of water, aka half pint. I'm going to add 8 ounces of the solution, the coolant concentrate Pinto Frost. That will give me 1 pint. If you need more, you can always mix more. It's not a big deal. I just rather mix less and then add more if I need it. So I am adding my other 8 ounces to go right up to 16 ounces, which I have here. Let me put this lid back on. And I might need a little bit more, but I think this is probably going to be enough to get to that area. It's probably going to actually be a little bit more than enough, but we'll see. Okay, so I am back here. Completely remove your cap. If you are removing this and you hear tss or something stop, that means that it still is pressurized. Nothing, because it's completely cool. The engine feels a little warm still, but it's cooled off. But you know, I was driving like an hour and a half ago, and it's like 15 degrees out, so anything feels warm. You can twist this like that. I don't want to make a mess. I'm going to get a funnel. Why make a mess? I'm just going to have a funnel here just to give me a little bit bigger. It's not really much of a bigger opening, is it? But it at least has a little bit of a spout there that I can go into. And then I'm just going to add it. And I want to see that come up to the cold fill line. I'm almost within range, so it really didn't need a lot. That check coolant light was just asking me to check coolant. I did. I said, hey, look, it could use a little bit. It wasn't low coolant. Again, it was check coolant. I can add a little bit more. So it looks like you want to go in the middle. I like to go in the middle of the cold fill range, and that's basically where I'm at right now. So maybe 14 ounces, I would say I need it. But now you can see that cold fill area. It's about right in the middle of where it should be. Before it was down here. That's the lower line of cold fill. That's the top. I'm right there in the middle. So that's it. That's how you would add coolant to your 2007 Land Rover, Range Rover L322. Don't take those messages lightly. We know Land Rover engines and some of the aluminum components and whatnot, they need proper cooling, and you don't want to be on the side of the highway overheating, because if you're overheating for an extended period of time, you get a cracked block or something like that on your Land Rover. I'm going to keep the rest of that Pinto Frost in the back just in case. I actually had a bunch of extra in the back, and a guy I know that has a bus, a school bus, an old GMC bus, was driving it, and he needed coolant, and I gave him some of my super fancy Pinto Frost coolant. So it's a great coolant. I really like it. I hope you found this video helpful, and don't make the dumb mistake I made and leave your vehicle running for like 11 hours. Thank goodness there were no issues, but that was one of the big culprits of why I just had to top this bad boy off. Give me a subscribe. Again, this is Jason with jamzDOTnet, cars, DIY ventures, lots of Land Rover projects, and we hope to have you following our journey along.